What's going on? You're here with Nate. This is Crossbeats Production, and thank you for tuning in. I want to take you through the SPL iron mastering compressor. It's quite an interesting compressor, especially in real life. This is the plug-in version of it, so I want to take you through some of the audio examples and also explain some of the features that it has on it so you guys understand it all. If you don't want to go through that, obviously hit the timestamp below. There'll be an audio example below where you can just hear the actual audio of this plugin. Otherwise, I'll go through some of the features here and get straight to that right now. So first off, the compressor has the main functions of a threshold, which is generally on most compressors. You've got the attack settings, you've got release settings, you've got control over what this shows you, so the actual display there, input gain, output gain, and this section here I'll explain in a second. You've got the headroom, so that controls where the compressor starts to react. Similar to a threshold, but it's just giving the compressor more headroom so that you can have higher volumes of audio go into it. Internal sidechain filter, which is somewhat related to this section here. You've got the monomake, which is on most plugins for plugin alliance. You've got stereo width and parallel mix, which is wet and dry or somewhere in between. So it gives you a bit of control over how the compressor sounds. So basically the sidechain function here, it's on the manual and it shows you the curvatures that are available for this, but you've got up to 4 different types of internal sidechain, or you can use it as an external sidechain to, for example, sidechain a kick or a bass. You can also then have this function here, which is just your standard high pass. So it could be a filter curve up to whatever frequency, up to 666 or nothing at all, and anywhere in between. Then it allows you then to use this section here, which is basically styles of compression. So it's called the rectifier. It's got these different styles here. So that controls the way the attack and release settings work. But these attack and release settings are all fixed. So depending on where you put this and depending on where you put this dial, it will make the track sound a little bit different each time. So that's pretty much the basis of this compressor. There's a section in the middle here, which I'll just quickly explain as well. So this is called air bass, and this section here is tape roll off. So you've got these two different functions. It's kind of like an EQ after the compression, and it gives your sound more of either a low end with top end mixed to it, or tape roll off is basically the bottoms and the tops kind of roll off a little bit, kind of like what tape does. So the next function here, which you see here, is 120 volt DC audio rail. This is pretty much a op amp. So the way that the voltage is controlled here gives you a lot of gain or slash headroom inside of the compressor or the hardware. So that's something unique to SPL. They do that so that it controls, the amount of headroom that you have and dynamic range and all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of unique, kind of interesting, makes it have a very transparent sound when the compression is high. And that's kind of why I think I like this compressor in the sense of mastering, because you can definitely give your sound a compressed or a less compressed, but it still sounds dynamic depending on where you do it. You can always overcook things. It doesn't matter what compressor you use, you can definitely overcook it. That's possible anywhere. So the next thing, it's got stereo. So this is in stereo, so left and right. You can unlink them so you can do independent left or right channel. So that's the button there. And then for this section here, if you want to do that, you can go mid-side mode. So I tend to use mid-side mode a lot of the time when I'm compressing, because I love to have control over the mids, being the mono channel, and the stereo, or the sides I should say, being, it could be reverb or things that sit on the side of the mix. So things you pan left and right throughout the mix, and that allows you a little bit more control dynamically when you're, mastering your track. So first off, let's go through the audio example so you guys can sort of hear what it does. I'll fiddle around with the dials a bit and I'll show you kind of what I do. So first, the settings here, they're a fixed ratio. It's in the manual what these settings are for the attack and the release. So I'm not going to explain those. I'll leave it on this setting here because this is kind of where I felt like it sounded good. And we'll have a listen to the audio example, and first in bypassed, and then we'll fiddle around here. So you can kind of see and hear there a fair bit of reduction is happening. But when I'm using this 120 volt DC audio rail button, it really makes the compressor transparent. It's allowing a little bit more headroom, and you can hear, especially with the way that these functions here with the attack and release, this is like the way that the compressor is allowing it to work. I haven't messed with the attack and release, but this changes and alters the way that the actual attack and release look. Now, on another video, I might show you guys in the future if if Plugin Alliance give me this plugin to review further, I might show you how that works and what it looks like. But for now, I'll just explain it as it alters the attack and release. This internal sidechain is quite interesting. I'll fiddle with that as well, show you how that affects the sound. Let's get straight to that right now. So I quite like the flavor that this compressor is giving to the track. I like the way that you have a lot of flexibility within the compressor. It has some functions and features that I really think most compressors should have, like the internal sidechain function that it has here. You've got that ability to really alter the sound. I really do like the way that you can control the attack and release settings via these different styles of compression here. And I just feel like the compressor in general is very transparent. It's definitely something that is suitable for mastering. You can use it in a mix as well. If you put this onto a mono channel, it sends it to one plugin here. So I can actually show you what that looks like if you want to have a quick look. So if I just load this onto one channel here, you see it comes up as stereo in a stereo channel. If you flick that to mono, then you've got the single plugin here, which is available. So you can still control this in a mix scenario. But I think the compressor is more tendent towards a mastering scenario. So if you like this plugin, go try it out for yourself. You've got the trial period. You can try it up to 14 days or so, I believe it is, and see what it sounds like on your master or your mix, and try it out for yourself. Since you know sort of some of the functions here, you can go in there and try it out quite quickly. So hopefully this helped you out. If you liked the review, hit your thumbs up on there, subscribe to the channel, and also I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.